Is someone visiting us today? Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to The Visit. This is a donation reward for Venom, so thank you Venom for donating. I don't know anything about this movie. I don't know what this is. I don't think I've heard of it, at least not off the top of my head. I think this is a horror movie. I think. I'm not even 100% certain on that, but I think I had it sorted into the horror section in my list, so. But yeah, I don't know what this movie is. The title doesn't give me a lot to work off either, because The Visit could mean anything. The Visit could mean home invasion. The Visit could mean aliens. The Visit could mean anything. It's such a vague term. And if this isn't horror, The Visit could mean a lot of different things in regards to other genres as well. Like like it could be related to like some kind of family member coming to visit and the chaos that ensues with that in terms of like a comedy. You get the idea. It's such a vague title that I don't know what to think about it. It's I don't know. I don't know. And as such, I don't know who's in this or anything either. I don't know who directed this, what studio put it out. I don't know anything about this movie, which I like. I've talked about before, I love going into movies as blind as possible. And a lot of the times it's not possible to be this blind on a movie. Because it's like with culture and social media, you hear about things all the time. Even if you don't know all the details, even if you're not like super familiar with the plot or anything, you'll still have heard of it. But I don't know this one. If I have heard of it, I don't remember anything, which is also a possibility for me. Which implies to me that this probably isn't like a super recent movie. It's I don't know. It might be a little bit older. I don't know. Of course, that's not necessarily true either. I guess there are more modern movies coming out still that I haven't heard of, so I think we just have to watch to find out. So let's get into this and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So there was one thing I had to go back and check on because they saw something outside of the door while trying to leave before Mitchell, I think it was, the fake Pop closed the door for the game night and everything. And I didn't quite catch what it was. I think because of like I was watching mostly on the OBS screen and it's smaller, so I went back and looked and that was Stacy. We wondered about that because we had not seen Stacy leaving. That was Stacy hanging from the tree. Yeah. So that does answer that question about what happened to Stacy. This movie is good. Nothing amazing, nothing like fantastic, but it's not M. Night Shyamalan's best movie by any means, but it's really good because I feel like it's really real. Compared to a lot of Shyamalan films, this movie feels more plausible. Like, some of Shyamalan's films take more of a steep into the supernatural, and then there are others that are more realistic, but even some of the realistic ones tend to be a bit over the top. This one felt very real, very grounded. Like, everything that was happening, nothing was like out of reality. Nothing was over exaggerated to the point of being too silly. The way that Mitchell and Claire, I believe their names were, the way that they were acting were the way that a lot of mental patients, especially those who face dangerous psychoses, can act. And like it's absolutely believable, and with the danger they posed and the delusions that they face, like with the entire alien thing, the white creature with the yellow eyes, it became more and more clear that they were like actively dangerous. And I'm still so glad I put the twist together before it happens. Like, I'm sure most people do. But it's whenever there's a movie that has a twist, it's like I'm always excited anytime I can guess what the twist is, especially with that much accuracy before it happens. Because I was spot fucking on. I not only called that it wasn't their grandparents, I knew that I figured out that they were escapees from the mental institution, um, and that the grandparents were in the basement. Now, I thought the grandparents were going to be alive, so it wasn't perfectly accurate. I thought they were going to be like tied up down there and gagged or something like that. Probably in pretty bad condition, but not dead. No, they were very dead. They had been very dead. And again, it's not that hard to figure out because all the clues are there. The movie gives you all the clues you need to figure it out. But it's one of those things where it's just, I'm autistic, okay? So I don't always catch everything. Sometimes something will just fly entirely over my head to the point where it's like, I just didn't catch it. And especially because I'm reacting to these, I've talked about this in the past, but when I'm reacting to something, it's different than if I'm watching a movie on my own time because I have to actively react. I have to actively give commentary on what's happening and my thoughts on it. And because of that, there are times I can also miss something just as a hazard of this job, as a hazard of choosing to do that, to view it this way. And so when I do manage to catch something, and again, with that strong of accuracy, when I do manage to be able to realize everything going on and how all the clues line up, like everything, I put everything together that was needed to put together. And whenever that happens for me, it's such a victory. It's such this like strong feeling of just vindication, because I feel like I was. It feels good to be right, but it also feels good that I like recognized all the clues that were there and actually put it together. It's just a good feeling because that doesn't always happen. I've seen a lot of mystery movies, a lot of like murder mysteries, and a lot of movies that like hinge on like trying to figure out what's going to happen next or what the twist is going to be, especially when it comes to like a Shyamalan film. And like oftentimes it's hard to like find what the twist is going to be for me. A lot of the times I can't figure it out or I'm not like as correct as I was here. And I like that little bits of things were accurate too. Like they weren't completely 100% lied to. Certain things like again the sundowning and the incontinence were real. Those were real things that were occurring. And it's just because these two are actual, they're old, elderly mental patients. And it's just like everything just fits together in the right way. Now, I looked up Becca's actress, and she's been in some other stuff, stuff I've heard of, like she was in the more recent Elvis movie and everything. Um, but nothing I've seen or would know her for. She hasn't been in a huge amount since this came out like a decade ago, and and I feel that kind of sucks because she did such a just standout job in this film. She was absolutely the star of this movie. And again, this movie had Catherine Hahn in it, so that's saying a lot. And Catherine Hahn, for as small of a role as she technically had, she did great. She did as great as she always does. Catherine Hahn is fantastic. And so it's like we expect her to do good, but she also was a smaller role. She wasn't in, let's be honest, most of the movie. She had very little screen time. Um, I like little touches of the reveal scene, by the way. Like when it's revealed that those aren't their grandparents. Like she turns the laptop around to show like them standing outside talking to the mom. And it's like as Becca's continuing to talk and everything, you can hear the mom's voice very shaky, just saying Becca and Tyler's names over and over again. You can hear the panic in her voice. It lets you understand exactly what's going on before the reveal actually happens. It's so well done. It's such a good scene. And then the reveal actually happens and the tension just is driven up from there. It's really good. And again, this is fully a realistic thing that could happen. Nothing in this movie felt like over the top or exaggerated. It felt very real. Cuz, mental patients have absolutely escaped from institutions. Even and especially dangerous ones, and they have caused problems after escaping. Yeah, it might not happen all the time, but I don't think there's ever the implication with this movie that it would. It's just this is one of those cases where it did. These kids like had never met their grandparents, had never seen pictures of their grandparents because the mom had fully 100% cut them off because of what happened. And so it's like the mom wasn't there. The kids like went off on their own basically. And so there was no way to verify. Every time the kids were talking with the parents or with their mom, the grandparents were off doing something else until that reveal. When again, they were still off doing something else, but still. Until that reveal, like the mom had never seen them like off the camera and everything. And on top of that, like like we see that Claire even messed up the computer's camera. And although it got fixed, it was still messed up for a time. So it's also clear that like Mitchell and Claire had like the full enough mental faculties to actively sabotage things. They were actively sabotaging um Becca and Tyler's ability to, reveal this. And on top of that, like the reveal at the end, it's like it's very clear that this was like intentional and that they were always going to kill themselves and the kids and everything for this like grand plan of theirs. They're mental patients. They're psychotic, but not to a degree where they don't have like any kind of mental like faculties to them. They still have the ability to think and make decisions. And that makes them scarier because they know what they're doing. They're not like they're not crazy to a point where they're like not in control of themselves. They know what they're doing. Outside of, Claire sundowning. Outside of the sundowning, like they're fully in control of themselves. And that makes it worse. That makes it scarier. Because that means this was a premeditated thing, too. Remember, it said that Claire had like drowned her own kids, and they had heard like the real Pop and Nana talking about like their grandchildren coming to visit, which also means that this was set up, obviously, though that I don't see how it wouldn't be. While the grandparents were still alive. So the murder happened, like right before they got there, pretty much. These two escaped probably at the time when like maybe the real Pop and Nana were leaving, like from helping out, from volunteering as they did. These two escaped, followed them back to their house, killed them, removed all the pictures, which again is something that takes like it's something that they would have to actively think to do, and then went to pick the kids up from the airport. It's like they heard like about everything. They heard all this information. They knew everything that was going to be happening. So they were able to play along with it. And it's like certain things you can even like, certain things I was questioning, and that made me start to question my theory. Like the way that Claire was reacting to Becca asking about the incident. I feel like what was actually happening there was Claire was reacting to what happened with her own kids. And like that was what was setting her off. And like even the apology was like, well, actually it was more of like a forgiveness. So that one I think was just like her like stepping into the role still, because like she wasn't forgiving her own kids, unless like, the craziness was just causing her to like blend the two stories. But either way, it's just that's explainable away as well, because of we find out that she did have like her own kids. So it's just, again, and it felt so vindictive once it was revealed. Mind you, at that point Claire was sundowning, so she was just in her psychotic state. But like with Mitchell, like, oh my god, he was so vindictive once it was revealed, once the truth came out. Like the way he like smeared the shit covered diaper on Tyler's face. There was no reason to do that. That was so actively like vindictive and mean. And again, that's something that's like not like a psychosis thing. That was an active like decision that he decided to do specifically to fuck with Tyler. Like that's fucked. That's ridiculously fucked. It's just it's such a freaky tense film because of the realism of it. And even the way that they're killed, you might be like, oh, but like we're really supposed to believe like that little killed them. It's like they're old. Yes, that little would kill them. Mind you, Claire was also stabbed. We didn't even see where she was stabbed, but Or maybe that was just, because the backlight on my new computer is like low and everything looks darker to me. um, but we can assume she was probably being stabbed in the neck, probably bled out. But also, that would also kill an old person. I mean, it would kill a lot of young people too. And Mitchell, like, was not only tackled and like, beaten into the ground, but then he had his head slammed in a fridge door over and over and over. It's like, yeah, I think that would do it to an old person. Their bodies are very fragile. It's like, again, it keeps it very grounded. And I feel like that definitely, like, elevates the film. And yes, there's, like, elements of this movie that are, like, really cringy and ridiculous, but a lot of people just, I feel like there's a lot of people out there who don't seem to realize that that's intentional in M. Night Shyamalan films. Like, they act like a lot of the cringe is, like, an unintended, just, like, it's unintended and just a part of M. Night Shyamalan's filmmaking, like, that he just is, like, a cringy person and his filmmaking is just cringy, like, because of that. But no, that's, like, intentional. That's very much intentional. That's his style. It's meant to be silly and over the top and ridiculous. And in a movie that is more grounded like this, the ridiculousness comes from, preteen cringe. Just a couple of dumbass kids being, dumbass kids. The rapping, the references, the ridiculous, like, nature of their, like, bickering and stuff. It's like, that's kids. Kids are cringy. I was cringy as a kid. You were cringy as a kid. Everyone is cringy as a kid. Kids are cringe. And so it's like, yeah, that doesn't detract from the film at all, because that's very real. That is extremely real. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Like, it was tense. It got me invested. I was, like, focused. And again, I had a lot of, like, excitement over actually guessing the truth of what happened. So, like, the fact that I got the twist is, like, always great. And there were some great performances in this. No, I wouldn't say there was any bad performances. Um, but like I said, the ones that really stood out were obviously Catherine Hahn. I think I said Catherine Newton at one point. That's a completely different actress. Catherine Hahn, obviously fantastic. Like, she's, again, a great actress. I loved her in Glass Onion. I know a lot of people would, of course, say WandaVision and Agatha All Along, but, like, when I think of Catherine Hahn, I think of that. I think of Glass Onion, or I think of her voice role as uh Olivia Octavius in Into the Spider-Verse. But like I said, Olivia DeJonge, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, as Becca was just absolutely fantastic. And Ed Oxenbould, who was Tyler, he did pretty great too. Um, Nana and Pop Pop's actors, Deanna Dunnigan and Peter McRobbie were pretty great. Um, I think they did a great job. Also, apparently, according to this, Peter McRobbie was in Brokeback Mountain. And I don't remember him in that. But maybe that's just me. Maybe he wasn't, like, a massive role. And was he the boss? Maybe he was that one boss. Um, he might have been the boss, maybe. I don't know. I would have to look it up. But yeah, I thought this was really good. Not like anything special or fantastic, but really good, really enjoyable. And yeah, I definitely think that this is a movie that I would recommend out of M. Night Shyamalan's catalog. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think? Did you figure out the twist as easily and quickly as I did? Um, what were your thoughts on the grounded nature of this? And, like, did you enjoy the cringe? Let me know, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Venom for donating. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.